Hey Hatchlings! It's DragonFaether and welcome back to the channel, and on today's episode we are doing the Moontime Magic tag. I absolutely love this tag and I've wanted to do it for a while, but I have not because most of my trauma in my life revolves around the Moontime, so because of that it's kind of like hard for me to talk about that. So with that being said, trigger warning, we will be talking about my blood today. If that weirds you out, then why are you subscribed then? Because I'm a geeky, cheeky, and freaky fluffin' weirdo. So
if you are new here, marry me, what an interesting video to catch you at. I am Azura and I post new videos here every week and they're magical. Dun, 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 dun. And thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I appreciate you choosing to spend some of your day with me. And if you have not already clicked that subscribe button, please do so and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, hopefully. Ding, ding, ding.
Today's video is brought to you by the Angry Alchemist. She created this tag. Did you think I was going to give you a sponsor? Ha ha, no.
Hey Hatchlings, it's Editing Feather and a little Miss Lejabita. And today I come to you with a peculiar situation because, as you see, the more and deeper we get into these questions in today's tag, the more and more I realize that today's video kind of just became a promo for my best friend, Lord Brian, who makes all of my medicine essentially. He actually just dropped his first book recently called Living Truth Raw, and it's a recipe and informational ebook about eating raw foods. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, and for the variation of the edibles that I talk about in today's video comes from his bliss ball recipe in this ebook, quite sincerely, you can use the coupon code HATCHLING for 15% off, and it turns out to be like 20 something bucks at that point. So it's pretty legit, honestly. I do recommend. I absolutely recommend. I'm using my own coupon code to get it, so it's freaking awesome. He is just one of the best beans for health things that I know, so hope that you enjoy that.
Today is just fun. This is just between you and me, Hatchlings. Today is just you and me today.
I am Miss Lejabita, and I know that you came here for uninterrupted content, but I hope that you don't mind that we come to bring you the medicine of Lord Brian. So please use the coupon code HATCHLING for 15% off. And thank you for watching.
Oh, Keisha, you're so cute.
Thank you, the Angry Alchemist, for creating this tag. I absolutely love this tag, and if you guys want to see the questions that are in this tag, you can check out my blog post for this video in the Hatchling clan and other places on Amino. So yeah, cool. For those of you guys who don't know what Moontime means, it is when we have our periods. For those of you who have bodies that bleed, this is the menstrual cycle that we're talking about, and this tag is all about how we incorporate magic into that time of our cycle for our bodies. Now, for many of us, this can be a time where we feel most powerful, where we feel like a true goddess of life-giving force. However, this time can also be very dysphoric for some people, and it can completely be such a struggle for them that they have a hard time being themselves. And it can also be pretty much an indifferent experience. Some people might just be like, if this happens to me and I do the thing, and that's cool. And to some people, it'll be the most sacred thing of their lives. So, with that being said, let's jump into the first question, because I wanted to start talking more about my menstrual cycle me being a woman, okay? Well, I should say me being a bleeder, okay? It's 2020, we can change our fluff and language, can't we now? Okay. Question number 1 is, how can you tell when your moon is coming? And it's so funny because I actually started my moon yesterday, which is why I figured that this was a really good video to cover today. I've been like working on a Pastel Goth Ultra update that you will get soon, I promise, but today I was feeling like a potato, so that's why I look like a potato, because I'm pretty sure most of you guys look like potatoes on your moon time. Okay, so that's why we're gonna keep it real, bro. I can pretty much tell when my moon time is coming by the way that my emotions are. I'm actually super sensitive to it because whenever I know that, like about a week before my period starts, I'll start feeling like I'm not in control of my emotions, and it's really difficult for me sometimes because I don't like feeling like I'm not in control of myself. I just actually become so lethargic and like I become snippy. Some people would say I become bitchy, but that word is... I wouldn't say I'm bitchy, I would say that I become irritable. You know what I mean? Like, just like, you know, bitchy is different. Bitchy's kind of awesome and powerful. That's how I can pretty much tell like a week before, but then when it comes to like actually bleeding, I feel like heavy, like, let me back up. I feel heavy like right here, like in my lower stomach area, and I'm just like, something's coming, okay? And then sometimes I'll literally be like, I really think I'm gonna start my period, and the moment I have that thought, I start. And it's so crazy because like I had that thought yesterday and I was like wearing cute clothes, right? And I had that thought yesterday, and then literally I was like, no, I think I started, and I went to the bathroom to check for blood, and I had just the tiniest amount of blood on my like cute pajama shorts, and I was like, caught it. Like, I'm just super happy it didn't get any worse or any bloodier than that, because like those shorts were cute, okay? So they were salvageable. That's the point, and that's why I'm excited, because that's like, I'm just so in tune that I can tell, so I like know when to start wearing the clothes that can be damaged. It's a process. Number 2 is, how do you cope with bleeding? What products do you use and how do you use them? So the first part of number 2, how do you cope with bleeding? Me personally, it's sometimes a battle. Sometimes I cope by simply sleeping. I don't really know what else to do sometimes when it hurts so bad, because things like Advil or Myadol or like Tylenol or like even like something with codeine or something like that, like painkillers don't really do much for me when it comes to my period. So I use cannabis. I consume cannabis. I use like raw edibles that my best friend makes me, because I sincerely, I cannot like get something of like such a potency like on the market anymore. So it's like completely homemade, legally grown and all that. So it's really nice and really therapeutic, and he's a raw vegan, so like it's all super nutrient dense, and that's how I cope, because it has a ton of like super good nutrients that helps my body like feel better. It has the cannabis, obviously. He packs it with raw CBD. I'll leave all the like products down below, and over on the WeTube we have a tutorial on how to make these edibles coming soon. But I'm really excited because it's the only way that like I can cope with the pain and the bleeding, if you will. Sometimes I smoke, but I prefer to eat really potent edibles, because that's the only way I really get the therapeutic need. I just can't smoke enough fast enough to get the relief that I need, because I need a lot. So I also do teas. My best friend, again, he makes me like this home raspberry leaf blend. He does so many awesome like home remedies for me. He like makes me raw meals too, like raw brownies and stuff like that, because I struggle with coping. He's literally like my medicine man, so that's why he is like the one man I go to when I have a struggle. I'm very blessed to have him in my life. So then the second part of this question is, what products do you use and how do you use them? I'm assuming this is like period products or like
feminine care items, which is just so silly. It's just, call them freaking pussy band-aids, okay?
I absolutely hate anything that goes inside of me during my period because it's just a very like sensitive spot for me. I like just, it doesn't matter how small the tampon is, or I can't do diva cups either because of that reason. Like it's just, I've never tried diva cups, but if I can't handle a tiny little tampon, there's no way I can handle a giant silicone cup that suctions to me. There's just I mean, I'll use it eventually in the future when I want to like collect a lot of blood for my like rituals, but we'll get into that in another part of video of today's video, so stay tuned because we'll get there in a second. I prefer pads because it's just, it's easier for me and I feel like everything is there. I don't really like having anything inside me, though. I don't really like the feeling of feeling it come out of my body. There's just really no good way to like cope with it, honestly. Like the feeling of the blood is just not a good feeling and I don't like the flow. Okay, but see, this is why I wanted to like start talking about this on the channel, so like we can overcome this together. I know I'm not the only one who's triggered by their body functions, so we got this, guys. We can do this together. I am going to get some period underwear and some reusable pads soon, so if you guys would like me to make a video on that, like me trying that for the first time, I would absolutely love to. Also, with how I cope with bleeding, sometimes I actually put weed inside of my body. Not in my mouth, but like the other way. Not in my butt, but in the front butt, if you know what I'm saying. If I need that really high dose, I'll usually put 500 to 1,000 milligrams just in there, and she works. Okay, like that's a lot, not for everybody, but she works and she helps, and I really should probably get tested for endometriosis. I got a lot of that runs in the family, so see, there's these things that I want to like take care of and I have a lot of anxiety about it, and that's why I wanted to make a video about it, because you probably got some anxiety about it too. And hey, if you don't, please drop some support in the comment section below, because you know, it's all about reclaiming our feminine goddess, you know? It's all about reclaiming our right to our bodies, and if that means that you don't want your uterus, take it out. That it should be that simple. And like the only way it's gonna be that simple is if we get loud, if we get proud, and if we start talking about it, and they cannot ignore it.
You cannot ignore it.
Okay, so the next question is, do you meditate? And how does your meditation routine change during moon time? I really love meditating in the morning and the night. I really have kind of like struggled keeping that routine being like all over the place, because like I will have like long periods of time where I just travel a lot, and like I'm just nomadic that way. So like from the end of 2019 to like the end of January this year, I was pretty much like gone like the whole time. So for pretty much 2 months, that was loud. Pretty much for 2 months I have just been like in different houses, sleeping in different places, with different people, on different schedules. So when I have that kind of situation, it's really hard for me to keep that regular practice. But when I'm at home by myself, which is usually where I like to be when I'm on my moon time, I like to kind of retreat into my space and kind of just not be bothered. Like I don't even like talking to like my parents when I live here, just because like I'm just like, no, like I feel like crap, and I'm just gonna like go within, and it's a very introspective time for me. It's a very much like a transformational time, or like a rebirth time, you know? It's like the dark moon phase, you know? I really feel like I'm about to become anew, and when my cycle is done, I feel like a new person, or like a new version of myself, because each moon time or moon cycle is very much like a purging process for me, and I visualize it that way in my magic. So that's kind of how my meditation changes, is it becomes very very centered around the process of my body. Like when I meditate normally, yes, I will like breathe, you know, like and focus on my breathing. That's like a process. I'll focus on my heartbeat too. But when I am on my moon time, I will focus on how like I'm like swollen with the blood of life, and like how I like purge that, and each time like I feel it leave my body, I visualize shitty things leaving my body too, and like that's just a really great way to visualize for me. But also sometimes I'll visualize a really positive life force giving energy into this sacred moon blood, because that's what it is. It's life-giving blood, and for those of y'all who think it's gross, you're fucking backwards. You came from it, so I don't know what's up.
This blood.
Sometimes I will focus on giving it my utmost of power and use it in my practice. I really like to meditate morning and night, but every time I really do try to create a meditative space for me at nighttime, that like I almost like to create like a cradle for myself when I'm on my period or I'm on my heaviest days, because that way, like, you know, the candles are burning, I got some incense, I got really nice meditative music, I might have some video games, you know, have a cup of tea and some snacks. Like, I just really try to like make the environment like really nice for me, and like have a joint while I'm laying down to go to bed is really nice. It's so lovely, and that's like my meditative process, because sometimes it's hard for me to like sit in a position and meditate or like really focus and meditate, so it's about creating like a relaxing feeling or a meditative state of mind rather than like sitting down and be like, I am doing this, or like I am meditating. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. But the next one is, what are your favorite teas and foods during moon time? Of course, we got the chocolate addiction. I have a huge addiction to dairy. I'm going to talk about it in a video actually. So I like the vegan cheeses and the vegan chocolates if I can find them. They have these like vegan like dark chocolate raspberry jellies that are like made with like pectin, so it's like totally like vegan. But the cool thing is that they taste like
little like chocolate things that I can munch on. I also like really love chocolate milk too. Like chocolate almond milk, of course. Like just because I love that like chocolatey feeling. Like chocolate milk and vegan mac and cheese, like all vegan of course, like it's just so good. Oh my gosh. And then like I love just sweet things, like sweet and salty on my period is a must. See, it's the vegan macaroni and cheese and the chocolate milk, that's the salty and the sweet kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? But what I really need is I really need like hearty fat meals. Like I need like burgers with like chocolate cake as a dessert. Like I need these like stereotypically American like donut burger stuff. Oh my. That's what I crave on my period. It's horrible.
But I do my best to make like raw vegan versions or like vegan versions with the help of my friend, of course, who makes my medicine. But he also makes my teas as well, because like he's a Capricorn, okay? Like his earth medicine magic is just like beyond anything that I've like ever experienced from anyone like in my country. Like I've experienced that from people outside of the country, but in my country it's the best I got. He adds so much in there that like I don't necessarily know everything that goes into it, so like I could definitely like ask him for that recipe. If you guys want like a video on like my moon tea blend, I would love to share that with you guys, and I know he would as well. He actually like recently wrote a book about his raw recipes. I'm like totally plugging him right now because he's just like everything I've ever needed for like my medicine when it comes to my like moon time. So like please go buy his book, it's so lit. I don't know if his like coupon code is still working, but if not, I'll like see if he can give me a coupon code for like, use the coupon code HATCHLING for like $3.69 or something. I don't know, I'll talk to him about it, because like I love him, okay? I love his stuff. Alright, anyway.
I'm a geek for health stuff, can you tell? But I like to eat the shitty food, but I like to eat the shitty food in a healthy way. So I do the best that I can, but I like to eat crap on my period. Cheers, okay? But also seriously eat your fruit, because you'll feel so much better. Like when I just like, okay, going to farmers markets, what am I doing? I'm making the answer to this question so long, but like going to farmers markets and like having wheatgrass shots on my period just makes me feel so good. Like I don't even feel sick, because like when I'm on my period I kind of feel sick, but if I can push myself to get outside of the house and like go to the farmers markets, because there's too many where I live, there's like probably one every single day if you really thought about it, but oh my gosh, I really need that wheatgrass juice. Okay.
What about aromatherapy, oils, and incense? Yes, so let's talk about the aromatherapy. I don't really have a lot of like aromatherapy things like here where I live currently, but of course my friend's house, when I'm over there, he does like peppermint oil. That one really helps me, but it has to be very subtle. Like peppermint and lavender is like really good for my period. Sometimes it's a little too strong, so peppermint and citrus is really good as well, because like the citrus is very bright. It's not so like pungent like a flower, it's more so refreshing, so that's why it like helps me feel like I can breathe deeper, especially when I feel super heavy, because I personally feel really heavy on my period. The better I eat, the less I feel heavier, but I do tend to feel heavy pretty much no matter what I do on my period. So what about you? Because I don't know. Yes, I love using incense. I don't use it as often as I would like to, or as I used to. I just like kind of need to stock up. Incense is just way cheaper if you buy in bulk, so like, yeah. Buy in bulk and then have incense for like 3 years, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, and also because that way I can like get stuff to like give you free stuff when you buy stuff from my Etsy store. But that is a whole nother thing. And these incenses, like the smells, like I said, are really, really good for me. I personally I need the smell of dragon's blood. Like, I need the smell of dragon's blood in my life. It's just something that really helps me feel safe. Like, it's a very like I feel safe smell to me. So when I don't have it, I really kind of don't feel safe. I mean, not necessarily, you know, it's like I don't need that to like, it's not like my security blanket, but it's just like if I am feeling a little like anxious or apprehensive, if I burn it, my anxiety usually goes away, like paired with lavender. So it's cool. I like a lot. We have the next question, and the next question is, do you have any rituals or special activities? Yes. So I have a moontime ritual that I have done my whole life, and while I won't tell you like the whole particular details of it because it is totally personal, what I will say is it involves a chant and lighting a red candle, and I have this cord where I tie a knot in it for all of my like cycles, and it's really cool because like if you're staying on top of it, which I haven't throughout all of like the years that I've practiced, but when you stay on top of it, it's really cool to see how many like cycles you have, and it's something that's really fun to do with like kids as well. Like if a 12-year-old, 13 or 14-year-old bleeding body just got their first blood, then this is something that's fun to do with them. It's kind of cool to see, and over time it's really kind of unique, so that's part of it. Also do something with the full moon. It doesn't matter what phase the moon is in because I always will draw down the energy of the moon. For a while I like always had my menstruational cycle on the waning moon, but now it's more so right during the full moon, which is really cool. I feel like I'm in sync when I bleed with the full moon, although that wouldn't necessarily be accurate. It's kind of opposite actually, to be ovulating during your full moon technically. But anyway, I digress. What I'm talking about is the special activities. I really like doing meditation in the moonlight. Like I said, drawing down the moon is a very good one. I have a couple of rituals that I do in chants, and if you're interested in like a variation of that, I have like an example one, little like simple ritual that you can do, no materials needed and materials included, so no tools, no problem, but if you have them, go for it, and that'll be in the blog post that's in the Hatchling clan and various aminos that you can find me in. So that's just kind of what I do for my moon time and honoring my moon time, so it's pretty dope, pretty dope. On the 7th question already, and that question is, how do you feel about blood magic, and is it a part of your moontime practice? Absolutely. I love blood magic. It is one of the most powerful forms of magic in my experience. It is an advanced form of magic that I do not believe beginners should be using. However, it is a great place to start if you are doing, let's say, protection magic. As you advance through that, you can use blood in your protection magic. Very, very, very strong, very potent energy source. And it's the greatest way to bind ourselves to our magic. For example, runes were created, there would often be a drop of blood added to the clay to forge it with your energy. And so when it comes to stuff like that, you really, really, really want to use blood magic. If you think about it being the life force energy, think about how that works. You know, and so it makes sense that like people will do sacrificial magic, or people will pay blood offerings in exchange for very, very strong types of magic, but that's not what I'm talking about in today's video. What I'm talking about is using my moon blood in my practice, because this is the most sacred blood of all. If you ask me, this is the most sacred blood of all because it is shed naturally. It is not shed with violence. It is shed as a cyclical reminder of life, the cycle of life, and the embodiment of sacred life force energy. This is the only blood that should be used in blood magic in my personal vegan mind, and this is just because I'm not going to cut myself and use that blood, unless it's like for very, very, very special special reason, like, and that's just because I don't like to harm my skin. I don't like to harm my body. I don't like to harm, like, my temple. I feel it's very sacred. So I do the best that I can, you know, but that's why I like to work with my moon blood, because I naturally shed this. I naturally have this resource as a bleeding body, and if you do too, you can utilize this to collect copious amounts of it, or as much of you can as your flow. That made no English. But you know what I mean. And if you want to use that, I recommend using a diva cup, but I don't use very much blood in my blood magic because I feel like a little goes a long way. I kind of just take enough, like a dab or whatever, and it's all I really need. Is it part of your moontime practice? Absolutely. I do all of my really powerful magic when I'm on my moon time, when I have the energy, and I like to push myself to do it too, because that way my magic just feels more powerful, and I don't really like saving my blood for rituals. I like using it fresh. I feel like it's the most potent that way. So like I don't want to like put it in a jar and stick it in the fridge and use it for later. While you can totally do that, it's just not like, it doesn't feel right in my practice. It's totally personal choice. So that's kind of like where I come from in my practice. So my whole practice kind of like shifts when I'm on my moon, because my whole practice revolves around my moon instead of like the external celestial happenings. It's revolving around the internal celestial happenings. So I think that's pretty cool. Don't forget that your womb is a portal between worlds. So it's definitely a time to honor. And I believe this is the last question, is what are your personal correspondences for moon time? So I would be here for hours telling you all my correspondences, so if you want to see my full detailed list of correspondences, you can check it out in the blog post as well. It'll all be listed there for you, so you can like just put that in your book of shadows like easy as pie. But for the sake of this video, I'll just cover a little bit. So for crystals, my favorites are going to be bloodstone, moonstone, selenite, rose quartz, garnet, and tiger's iron, or tiger's eye, which is like the red version of tiger eye. And that is like pretty much my favorite crystals. I also really like using hematite too during my moon, because it's a very grounding crystal that's like unusual in the sense that I'm not normally going to use hematite to ground myself. I'm going to usually actually use garnet when I'm not on my moon, but when I'm on my moon I prefer to use hematite. So herbs, I would say cannabis, absolutely. Any psychedelic medicines, so I would relate magic mushrooms or ayahuasca or peyote or anything like that to moon time, because I just feel like it's very, very interconnected in my personal experience. I also feel like raspberry leaf is a great one, and there's a couple that are escaping me right now. But oh yes, lilies are great. I like using lilies in my practice, so like careful because some lilies can be poisonous, but using dried lily leaves and like sprinkling them and stuff is just a fun, don't consume, but yeah, that's one of the things I do. Element I would associate with moon time is definitely the element of water. I would associate the goddess Aphrodite, Hecate, the Morgan, Freya. I would associate Isis with moon time. I'm trying to think, Selene is probably another one. And these are like really, like any like triple goddesses are really good for like the moon time, because it's very much a cycle. It's very much all of the phases culminating to release the flow. So those
are some more of my correspondences, and I hope that you enjoy it. But if you'd like the rest of them, they're in my blog post down below, so don't forget to click it and check it out.
But yeah, if you want to know some more of like the recipes that I use to eat and treat myself, then you can check out my friend Banana Bran on Instagram, and also he has his book that just came out, so you can check that out as well. And if he was so gracious to give me a discount code, it's on the screen, and thank you, Lord Brian. That being said, we are going to get on out of here. I had so much fun making today's video. I personally am feeling like a blob monster, so I hope that you enjoyed the blob monster video. And yeah, that's just kind of today's focus and what we doing and how you doing. So yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. I missed you guys so much, and thank you for clicking on today's video. Please don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a like on the video if you want more moon time or menstrual type of content, if you want more health, wellness, body stuff, I got you. Just leave a like on the video to let me know that that's what you're interested in, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm so excited to catch you in the next video and in the Hatchling clan. And yeah, let me know any suggestions. I'm gonna stop rambling. I love you so much. Been telling these stuff to geeky, cheeky, freaky little hatchlings. Okay. Yeah, but until next time, this is bye. Oh, bye.
But before we get going, the best therapy for Moontime is Elizabeth. She's the best. Her cuddles and her purrs make Moontime so much better. Isn't that right, Miss Minnow?
Anything you want to say, Miss Minna? Oh, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload from me, Azura DragonFaether. Oh yes, and don't forget to use coupon code HATCHLING for 15% off on Lord Brian's recipe book. Have a great day.